So today's session, I'm going to now talk about some of these characteristics of when you're preparing presentations, right? So my first topic today is what are the things that we should consider when you are making a good quality presentation, right? So the very first one we need to remember, too many content. You should not put too many content in a slide, right? So remember, text should be minimal. So it's not an essay now. Don't put essays in the slides. Remember, you have to, it will be shorter, right? So in that particular case, if you consider the number of lines, we can say, okay, our first one, the first one we can say, okay, the number of lines. When you type something, remember to restrict this to about 6 to 9. Yes. That is one of the things. Let's take down. And then the second one, the font size. Now, when you say font sizes, remember in computers, right, especially in computing, we are using points, PT. When you open a Word or like PowerPoint, usually we will see the default size is 11 points. 11 means in points. If you want to have it to physical measurements that we use, remember 0.72 is equal to 1 inch. If you want to print something 1 inch height in a paper, remember you had to use 72 points. So now I hope you can work it out and see what the default font size is. Third one, we need to use correct grammar and language. So you can check this because in Word also we discuss. We have grammar. You can check for spellings and grammar. Tool is there. Make sure that before you make a presentation, right? Before you make a presentation, make sure you will have correct grammar and language. Okay. Then the next one, use appropriate images, pictures, table, charts, but do not put too many. So usually they would say, okay, place maximum of 2, because you know that if you have too many, it's not very clear because this is slides, right? So which means we have to use suitable images, pictures, table, and even charts. So if you have numbers in a table, still it's encouraged not to put table. Instead, represent the data as a charts. But remember, the maximum of these, you better restrict into 2. Right? Reason is it's too complicated and kind of annoying if you have too much of information in the slide. Audience will start reading, right? Audience meaning Let's say I'm now having a presentation for you. If I have too many things, then it's distract. Next point. Right? When you're using colors, right? You can use couple of colors in a slide to highlight things, but do not use too many colors. And sometimes red, you can use red, but you have to be very careful, because people would say that the red is annoying, right? Some of the cases. So these are only guideline, but still you prefer red, you may use it. But I hope you should know the limitation. And that means bold letters, sometimes even italics you can use. Then we will also learn how to put animations, right? We will learn how to make animations in a PowerPoint. And in grade 11, we even learn how to use, sorry, animation software. So always you can have active audience if you use animations in your presentation, and also videos. Because if you perform the same traditional teaching in a presentation, it'll be boring, right? I know that right now also this is boring, especially when it comes to theory. But do not insert a lot of animations or videos in one slide, maybe one at item, right? At a time in a slide. Last one, you have to keep in mind your audience, right? Now for grade 10, I guess having text like this might not be that bad, right? But then again, if you are doing this for, let's say, kids, this is boring, right? Have a lot of graphics. Okay, guys, now if you have finished taking down the note, please raise your hands in the chat, in the Zoom. Please raise your hands in the Zoom so that I can move to the next one. There are too many things. If you search for web, for example, there are too many ideas, right? Maybe as a homework, you could, try to find some more points. Okay, right now I'm waiting for confirmation from Senumi, Devmini, Dulaj, Kavindu, Kalindu, Kanishka, Taroshi, Tivanka. If you have finished, please raise your hands. If you don't know how to raise your hands, you have to go to yes. Go to more and go to reactions in Zoom. And then you have this raise hand. Now I'm waiting for your null. Okay, wow. Thanks everyone. Thanks guys. You can lower the hand now. Go to the same place. Remove that one. Wow, this is good. Right. Okay. The next thing that I'm going to discuss, right, the features, right? But before we are going to look at the features, let me start the interface. Anyway, like you don't have to draw this one. If you need, like I can send you the same, maybe you can take a printout if you want. And this is not, these are the just to see what we can find out in a, PowerPoint. Okay, so basically you will have the similar interface as in Word and even Excel. But sometimes some of the commands slightly different. And then in Word, we had a blank document. Excel, we had spreadsheets or cells. Now in PowerPoint presentations, we have slides. So this is called slide pane. And then we have a outline, right, will be here. So because if you have like 10 slides, the 10 slide will show you here. And here it will select what is a current slide. Okay. And then some layouts are there. Right? That's the first thing I want to discuss. Different layouts are there. Now let me open and show you, because then this is the next thing that we had to learn, right? So PowerPoint presentations. So we can have a blank presentation. Now let me share. So my version is actually 365, but I guess similar things are there, except there are few changes. So let me share my whole screen. So you can see. So you will start normally with the header slide, title slide. So you can have the, as a starting, you can create the title slide. Then again, you can insert new. So you can go to new slide. Now, right now we have only one presentation, right? Let me put this. Okay, we have and then we can have, okay. right? And then maybe, yeah. So the newer versions, actually, we have design ideas which sometimes you might not see in your machines. Very colorful ones are there nowadays. You can easily pick and choose. Right now, if you want to go for a new slide, the next thing you need to decide, right, how you want to represent the new slide. So slide outline will be something like title and content, like this, right? So things like, so you can list down, and even we have, let's say, grade 9 as well. So these are like few other things that we provide. And apart from that, we also like have training sessions. So we will use that. Right. So if I take another one, let's say this time I'm going to let's do content, right? Let's say we will discuss content in right, especially we can use a lot of things, uh, basics of programming, right, operators, and hence then we have control structures, functions and modules, programming standards, And we have object oriented programming. Visualization, data analytics. Right? These are like some of the topics we used to have. So we can then insert few things. Let's say we will have a picture. Maybe I can have online pictures. Well, programming. Right. So likewise, I'm looking for the layout. So the right now we have used title slide, two contents, right? And then we can also have comparisons. We can have blank, like some blank document like this. Blank is also possible. So the blank document is there. Right now, for example, let me say I'm going to add a picture. So in blank picture, let's say we have online picture on, programming statistics. PI, right? I made a spelling mistake. Statistics. Right. There are like, you can see how things were changing over the years. Actually, if you need like the current version, we have a TO index. So they will have index for October. Right now, let me take a picture of this one just to share. Let me have first 10 programming languages in according to TO for the month of October. So they usually compare programming language. I will take another window. So I'll go to home, another blank one, control paste. So let me crop. So I have taken from TOP index. They will, list down what programming languages are quite popular. Let's say we'll have first 10, right? Okay, here is what we have. This is the latest ranking about the programming languages. Okay, so you can see Python is the topmost language now by October 2021, and then keep on going top. Java going down, C going down, right? Yes, so this is just for your information, right? We see how things goes on. Right, now I think we'll take down this in the note. So we'll talk about only main ones. The first one is slide layout, right? So let's write down. We'll have the main features we'll talk about. So let's talk about the features. The first one, you will have like many slides. Right? You will have many slides. And depend on your requirement, you have to get different slide layout. That's exactly what I showed you earlier. So let's write down the slide layout, right? So that's exactly I was explaining earlier. Like depend on content that you want to put, we want to get different layouts. There are many, but I want to highlight few things. First of all, title slide. So you can draw title slide, right? You can have, if this is the slide, you have two text boxes. So usually what we see is inside this, we have two text boxes. Then the next main thing is title and content. Right? So in title and content also we have seen. It's divided into two, and title and content. The next common one is to content. Right? So that means you can put two different things here. Right? Like we did early. If you are finished, please raise your hands so that I can move to the next one. So let me share the screen again. Sorry. Hope you can see now. Okay, good. We have like two. You can please keep on raising your hands. So depend on your requirement, you can use different styles. So that's exactly what I want to discuss here. So slide layout is one of the main features in presentations where you can slide how content could be arranged. Since once have this layout, you can insert different things. You can insert text, objects, clip arts, shapes, pictures, tables, charts, hyperlinks, graphs, which I think most of you know. Right now, I'm waiting for Senumi, Kalindu, Kanishka, Sitija, and Tarushi. If you finish, please let me know. Okay, thanks everyone. Now you can lower the hand. Now let's go to slide design. Right? Let me show you how to design your one. So in this particular case, I'm taking my slides. I have a very toy presentation. Right? So I can go to slide design. Now, when you go to design, usually you can use a theme. Right? When you say theme, you will have set of colors, backgrounds. You can arrange according to that. Now let me show you, let me go through some of the themes I have. So in my case, this is the default one. But if you go to the other ones, you see the slides will be changed, right? So it's very colorful now. The very first thing I did it, actually, I put the content. That's the first thing. Now I can focus on colors as a secondary thing. And immediately when you change this, you see everything will be changed. The font, the colors, the backgrounds, right? It will change accordingly, right? You see. So depend on, your requirement, you can select what kind of a slide design you want. And then there are variants, like now here we have selected this particular theme. Then there are variants. So if you look at like different color, so this is the default, but you can change depend on your requirement, and all the color themes are, designed. And even you can individually go to the fonts, for example, right? There will be a set of fonts which you can customize. Right? So it's totally up to you to decide the make a decision. But most of the time, this default one will work, right? And even the backgrounds you can select. And then color ideas. Remember, colors also as a text, a set of colors, right? So sometimes we use the term color palette in graphic designs, where we are not going to use all the colors available, but related colors. The color selection is a main skill as a graphic design, right? Remember, so all these are actually developed by professional designers. So they have selected to suit background as well as foreground text color. So they have matched. So that's why it looks very nice to us. And similarly, fonts. We should not use like multiple fonts for each and every slides, but maybe we have to restrict for very few fonts which match our presentation design. Okay, and then the slides sizes. Now you know that we have different ratios. 4:3 is the usually early days, the monitor ratios, but nowadays we have HD and so on. So we have a wide screen. And then formatting background we can talk about individually. You can format your background, right? So that's about slide, design, right? Now, for example, here in the background, now if you want, you can change it, right? Format background, you can fill, right? And then you could also have a picture, right? Let me take a picture. Maybe I can go for online pictures. I can type something like computing to try to find out a suitable picture, or maybe like, let me say computing education, because we provide the education providers. You can select image accordingly. So we can change. Go back to my original one. Let me go to background. Yes, insert picture, online pictures, say computing education. Remember that you can't insert whatever you want from the internet. You need to get that permission. So Creative Commons means CC, sometimes we call it, that you are free to use. When people upload images, they say that, okay, these images are free to use anywhere. But normally, remember, otherwise, you cannot, use. Seems I'm doing some mistake here. We should be able to insert picture without a problem. So okay, this time it works. We can put in the background if you want, like you see here in the design ideas. Now we can make use of it. We can send it to back. If I go to, let's say, design again, okay, now it should work. So something was wrong earlier. I really don't know, right, what has happened. But then again, if you already have 365, you can select, theme from there as well. But then again, when you change it, it should change. Okay, so you see. Okay, so that's about the slide design and the background. You can have colors, we have already seen. And then you can have, when you play, now let's, for example, now let's say I want to play right now. So it will be really boring because it's just simply we have content and it will go one time, right? So it will go, so there's no animation as such. The next point, we can put a lot of, animations to get live. So we can use transitions. That means how we should go from one slides to the other, right? Which means you can select. So there are various ways that you can actually select here, right? Depending on how you want to do this, I'm just going to randomly pick. So there are various things there you to, try it out. Now this time, if you run it, if I go to slideshow and let's say from beginning, so now we have some animations, but this time it's called transitions. Because whenever we will try to change the slide, we'll get it. Actually, we should not use like animations like this for every transition, maybe like one or two different ways. Otherwise, it looks like child is not very professional. But yeah, this is to, understand the possibilities we have. Then again, you can have animations within this. Sometimes we call custom animation if you have an older version of PowerPoint. So each of these we can, animate. So earlier we discussed the transitions. So we can go for animations and then we can decide how we want to have, So if I select, let's say this text, we can decide how it should appear. So appearance, it's called entrance. You can say fly in. Fly in means coming from some place. And then you can decide which direction you want. Direction of flying. Similarly, you can have, how exactly you need the entrance. So here also we can have, simply I can have appear, and here we can say, okay, I need it to fade. So similarly, you can give different ways to come in. Then you can design what kind of animations you want. Right. So now if you run it, if you go to now slideshow and from beginning, now we have included custom animation as well. Okay. Enough. Right. Okay. So we have this animations comes in. Now I told you one thing, although I have like just randomly select. Now once you get experience, you know what kind of animations that we should use. One way to do is see what others are doing and select some of the best things available, right? But it's not a good idea that you use different animations in different slides. It's okay to start with, but if you want to make look professional, so maybe you select for one slide. So for example, let me go here, and then we can apply one to everything. Now for example, let's say we will use fly in. We have, let's say, fly in. Okay, animations, yes, fly in. And here we have random bus. So if you want to have this. So you can simply say apply all. So this is there. So this one also the same. Right. So we can decide exactly what we want to do. Animation. So those details are given here. And you can change the way you want. Right now, the next thing, the slide advancement happens by clicking it, isn't it? We click it. But then again, if you want to like change this, and if you want to go, or if you want to run the animation, automate this, then that is also possible. Right? Now to do this, I can go back, right? And then I can go to, let's say, design, and then we have transition. Okay, so you can make a duration. Let's say I am going to have like 3 seconds for everyone, right? And then, okay, so this is not this one, so I made a mistake. So that means animation. So here, advanced slide. So right now it's mouse click. So you can actually select, let's say, okay, after 3, okay, let's say after 4 seconds, we can ask them to move, right? So in this case, I'm going to apply everyone. So now let's run and see. We can go to slideshow. Hopefully, automatically it should go. So everything is now automated. So interesting things would be like you can have something like slideshow of pictures of yours. Okay, so now everything is automated. Okay, so these are the main points I have to highlight. There are too many things actually you can do, right? But let's write down the last few things and then we can finish it up. Right now we have talked about only the slide layout. Then we can talk about slide design, which we have discussed. So let's write down slide design. So that we have seen. And then you can change slide background. Then we can have custom animation. Or simply in newer version, we have animations, but in your textbook, usually it refers as custom animations. And then you can have slide transitions. And finally, we can talk about how to run the slideshow. I'm going to finish this with the text. When you want to run it, you can decide whether you want to run from the beginning or with the middle point that I will show you. but this is, we need to finish it up. So let's take down these. And when you finish it, like I said earlier, please raise your hands to indicate that you have finished. Okay, so let me show you like how we could run. One thing, you can run from the very beginning. So when you click from beginning, it will run from the very first slide. And then let's say I want to start with the slide number 3. Then you click here. You can select from current slide. Then it will start from 3rd slide. Okay. So idea here is, if you are like stop your presentation in the middle, you can continue from there. Right. Okay. Right. The shortcut keys. So usually in the exam also they might ask you, right? If you want to start the presentation from the beginning, so it's F5. Just press F5 and see. And then if it is from the whatever the slide you are in, then you have to press Shift and F5. Right. So with that one, we will finish the presentations part. Right. So please go through the textbook as well. There are more information because I have summarized what we have to learn. And then we can have, question discussion next week.